सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। हरिः ओं श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओं. We have completed the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. This is called Shatkam-01, the first Shatkam. The entire Bhagavad Gita can be divided into 3 Shatkams. 1 to 6, Shatkam 1, 7 to 12, Shatkam 2, then 13 to 18 chapters, Shatkam 3. These Shatkams have topic-wise division. The first Shatkam deals with karma and karma yogam, kevala karma and karma yogam, various pancha mahayajnas and how to do the sattvic karmas. All these things are dealt in the first chapter. So this is called the karma shatkam. This shatkam also pinpoints the jiva swarupam. It defines the jiva swarupam and gives that tvampadardha visleshana. So this is also known as jiva swarupa shatkam or tvampadardha shatkam. In this shatkam, chapter 2, we have atma lakshanani. Various lakshanas of Atma were discussed at length. So all these Atma lakshanas are the lakshanas of my own Swarupa, my real self. So this deals with the Jiva Swarupam. And at the fag end of the second chapter, Sthita Prajna Lakshanani, there is a portion called Sthita Prajna Lakshanas. So there it is clearly given that how a jnani behaves. So this way the Jiva Swarupam is discussed in the second chapter. And in the second chapter, we have the Karma Swarupam also discussed there by the sloka Karmanye Vadikaraste. Anyway, I will discuss that at length. Then Karma Yogam, Pancha Mahayajnas. Like that it discusses various topics. And chapter 6 discusses with Dhyanam. Nowhere else in the scriptures Dhyanam is discussed so elaborately. This is a brief description of Shatkam 1. Then coming to Shatkam 2, it deals with Upasana. Shatkam 1 deals with karma, Shatkam 2 deals with Upasana. Ishvara Swarupam is discussed here. Then Tatpadartha Vivarana is given in this Shatkam. Here, the Saguna Ishvara Upasana is highlighted. In Shatkam 3, it is called Jnana Shatkam or Aikya Shatkam or Asipadardha Shatkam. In this, the Jiva Ishvara Aikyam is discussed. Jnana Nishta is discussed. Then Tat Tvam were discussed in the previous Shatkams. So this Shatkam deals with the Asipadartham. Asipadartham means the Aikyam of Tat and Tvam. We have 3 kinds of impurities which are obstacles for moksham. What are the 3 impurities? Malam, Vikshepam, Avaranam. Malam is basically due to the impurities in the mind, like Mada, Matsarya, Mada, Moha, Matsarya. Like that we have 6 impurities. So all these 6 impurities can be processed by Karma Yogam. What is Karma Yoga? Anyway, we'll discuss. So by Karma Yogam, you can process the Malam. There are 3 impurities I told, Mala, Vikshepa and Avaranam. These 3 impurities can be removed by Gita Adhyanam. The first impurity, so-called Malam, can be addressed by Karma Yogam. Karma Yogam is dealt in the first Shatkam. Then the second Shatkam, which deals with Vikshepam, that is the mind goes all over the world. It has no concentration at all. So this can be achieved by Upasana. So by Saguna Isvara Upasana, one can achieve this. This is dealt in the Shatkam-02. Then Avaranam means Ajnanam. I do not know my real self. So Gita introduces you the real self, tells you who you are in the real terms. So by understanding that, by having a long and continuous Sravanam under a able and competent Acharya, that Sravanam path, and then processing all the doubts, acquiring doubtless knowledge, so-called Mananam, and then staying in that teaching. That is called Jnana Nishtha, Nididhyasanam. So, by doing this, you can avoid the Ajnanam, so-called Avaranam. So, by clearing these 3 impurities, that is Malam, Vikshepam and Avaranam, one can have the freedom here and now. That is Jivan Mukti, the happiness within himself. He can achieve. This Jivan Mukti he can achieve, and Videha Mukti after the fall of the body. This is the advantage. So now we will go chapter by chapter and try to see what it is. Chapter 1 is titled as Arjuna Vishada Yogam. Arjuna falls into a crisis. He wanted to fight and win back his country. So he mopped up many countries, allies, and then he waged a war against Kauravas. So, but then when he wanted to fight, he happened to see his own grandfather, his own Guru. So all his revenge, all his plan, all his ideas, they were totally taken a U-turn, a roundabout turn. That is because he is stuck with Ragam, because he is deeply associated with compassion, with love, with his Pitamaha, Bhishma Pitamaha. When he saw his Pitamaha, Bhishma, and Gurudeva, Drona, he felt the loss of these 2 giants imaginary loss of these two giants. So he thought, no, I am doing a wrong thing. So this Ragam took him to Sokam. He is into grief. And because he is into grief, he felt that, he is not doing the right thing. So, and this Sokam, led him to Moham. Ragam, Sokam, Moham. These are the essential features of the first chapter. So when he saw the Guru and the grandfather, he is totally covered by Ragam, and then Ragam led him to Sokam, Sokam led him to Moham. What is this Moham? Moham is delusion. When he is deluded, when the mind is totally clouded, he loses the thinking power. The intellectual mind will be overshadowed by emotional mind. So, in the state of the delusion, a thing which is wrong will appear right. A thing which is right will appear wrong. So, it took a total U-turn. He thinks that, fighting against these people is absolutely wrong. He said that, it will lead to Kurakshayam, it will be a Mahapapam, it will be a bloodshed. So I don't want this blood-stained Rajyam. Like that, he started prattling. So the emotion started in the mind and it percolated down to the body. Sidanti mamagatrani mukham cha parisushyati vepaduscha sarire me roma harshascha jayate. I am losing balance of my body. My mouth is getting dried up. The whole body is shaking vigorously. The goosebumps are appearing all over my body. Like that, he felt his helplessness. Then comes the second chapter, titled the Sankhya Yogam. In this chapter, Arjuna realizes that his intellect will not help him. So he understands that he needs to surrender at this stage to Bhagavan. So he surrenders to God. He surrenders to his, Priya Sakha, Krishna Paramatma. He says, Karpanya doshopahatasvabhavaha pruchyamitvam dharma sammuda chetaha yachreyaha san nischitam bruhitan me sishyasteham sadimam tvam prapannam. Because of the extreme compassion towards my cousins, I lost the intellectual power. I do not know what is dharma, what is adharma. So, please help me. I am your Sishya. So, you teach me what is shreyas for me, what is the good thing for me, what is the right thing for me. So, like that, he prayed Bhagavan in many terms. So for success, we need two things, Manava Prayatnam and God's grace. Both are required. Unless, God's grace is there, simply Manava Prayatnam will not help, or simply God's grace and no Manava Prayatnam will not help. So it is always the combination of the human effort and the God's grace which will lead you to success. So, in Jnana Yogam, in this particular chapter, Bhagavan tells that the Atma is birthless, deathless, It is Asangam, Anityam, Satyam, Sarvavyapakam. So, Aprameyam. Atma is Akarta, Abhokta, Nirvikaraha. Like that, he gives various attributes of Atma. By telling the definition of Atma, by telling various attributes of Atma, what is the use to Arjuna? You may wonder. The description of Atma is the description of one's own self in the real terms. It is the description of one's own self. It is not description of something else. So in the real sense, you are Atma. Therefore, whatever be the Atma's attributes, they are all my attributes. If Paramatma says Atma is birthless, Atma is deathless, that means I am birthless, I am deathless, I am Asangam, I am Anityam, I am Satyam, I am Sarvavyapakam, I am Aprameyam. Aprameyam means I am ever the experiencer, never the experienced. Then I am Akarta, I am not the doer. I am Abhokta, I am not the enjoyer. I am Nirvikaraha, I don't undergo any change. So like that he gives the real Swarupa, he introduces the very reality of Arjuna. Then Paramatma also introduces Karma Yogam. Karmanye vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalahetur bhuhu mate sangostva karmani. So he says, te karmani eva adhikaraha asti. You have only a right to do the actions. Ma phaleshu kadachana. You have no right to dictate the karma phala. Because the karma phala, data is Ishvara, and Ishvara gives karma phala simply because you have done something today. He also takes care of your past karma. Your karma phala depends on the past karma also. You are never the karma phala hetu. So you cannot say I must get this result. The result depends on your the past karma also. At the same time, don't think, if that be the case, I don't do anything. Let it be not your attitude. So let you not be, dissociate with the actions. You must do action, and how you do the action with the karma yogam. That means after doing all your karma, you dedicate your karma to God. Ishwararpana buddhi. With Ishwararpana buddhi, may you do the work. And with Ishwara prasada buddhi, may you receive the karma phala. Then we have a beautiful portion in this second chapter called Sthita Prajna Lakshanani. In this, Paramatma gives the graphic description of a jnani, how a jnani behaves, how a jnani talks, how a jnani reacts to the situation. Like that, he gives a very clear picture of jnani. So by this, our Swamiji Paramarthanandaji designed a beautiful model. The model name is FIR technique. So by using this FIR technique, you can check yourself whether you are a jnani or not. F refers to frequency, I refers to intensity, R refers to recovery period. How frequently you lose the balance? You have to check. It should not be too many times. You should not be away from your composure or elements very quickly and very frequently. Intensity. By losing your balance, to what level you lose your balance? See, if it is at mental level, it is okay. Sometimes it percolates down the body and onto the tongue, and you may mishandle people, you can do any harm to the people around you when you lose your balance. So, to what extent, to what intensity you are losing this balance? That is called I. Then R, how quickly you are coming back to normalcy, how quickly you are coming back to your elements, your composure. That is very important. You should come back in no time. In a jiffy, you should come back. So, this beautiful technique is adopted from the Sthita Prajna Lakshanani. Then you have a wonderful question most often posed by people that why Paramatma taught Arjuna only? Why not to Duryodhana, why not to Karna, or why not to Bhishma, like that? Then people keep giving various answers. The straight and simple answer is Arjuna asked for it and Paramatma gave the teaching. So it's a dialogue between Arjuna and Krishna Paramatma. Krishna Paramatma, in fact, did not teach us directly, but he taught this entire Gita to the entire human population, the entire human race. So he need not teach each and every one. Then another important question is, when he wanted Shreyas, Shreyas means moksham. So when he wanted the moksha margam, the internal freedom, then people think that the Bhagavad Sakshatkaram, the appearance of God, is the moksham. If that be the case, Paramatma is right in front of him throughout the war. So he could have told, you are right in front of me, I am giving you darshana, so you need not worry, you are getting moksham. But Paramatma did not say this. He said that you have to understand your own reality, your own real self. So this is one thing we should understand. So this entire chapter, this chapter 2, focuses on the Jiva Swarupam, the real Swarupa of Jiva. Then we will proceed to chapter 3. If Jnana is superior to karma, why do you insist me to do karma? This is the question Arjuna poses to Krishna Paramatma. Because in chapter 2, Paramatma gave the description of Atma and also the description of karma. Then naturally Arjuna gets a doubt. If you say that Jnana is superior, why should I do this war? War is only karma. So I can avoid this war and sit in one place and do tapas. Why you want me to do war? So that was the question. So here Paramatma gives a beautiful analysis. He says that Sri Bhagavan Vacha Lokesmin Dvivida Nishta Pura Prokta Maya Nagha Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam Karma Yogena Yoginam. There are two nishtas and two sadhanas. What are the two nishtas? The Gruhaswasrama and the Sanyasa asrama. So one is called Pravrutti Nishta, other is called Nivrutti Nishta. Pravrutti Nishta, the people are into the mundane things. They do all kinds of mundane transactions and then they are into the family life. So this is one Nishta. Then the other Nishta, we have the Sanyasa Nishta. In that Sanyasa Nishtha, that is a Nivrutti Marga, which is the life of renunciation, life of seclusion. So there they live in isolation, they live in solitary atmosphere and try to contemplate. They don't mingle with people at large. So they do this nididhyasanam and tapas and all that. They are more into the nivrutti margam. They are into nivrutti margam. So this way, the nishtha, you have a choice whether to be in the Gruhasthasrama or to be in the Sannyasasrama. You have a choice. But there are sadhanas. In sadhanas, there is no choice. Karma Yogam and Jnana Yogam, two sadhanas are there. There is no choice. You have to follow Karma Yoga first and cleanse your antakarnas and achieve the focused mind, one-pointed focus in the mind, and then acquire the Jnana Yogyata, acquire the qualification for Jnanam, and then acquire the Jnanam. That is Jnana Yoga. Yadyadachariti sreshtaha tattadevetaro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokastad anuvartate. So Paramatma says, whatever is the sreshtas, whatever is the noble people follow, the others also will follow. So noble people should be the ideal one. They should lead the people who are following them. So they must be very careful. They should not do anything which is against the Vedic injunctions. Na buddhibedam janayet ajnanam karmasanginam joshayet sarvakarmani vidwan yukta samacharan. You have acquired jnanam, you should not confuse the common man who is into the simple bhakti and who is not exposed to jnana. Because some people say, don't go to temples, throw away all your idols in the puja mandir. Like this, they confuse. So such things people should not do. Na buddhibedam janayet ajnaninam karmasanginam. So you should not confuse the common man. This is one warning Krishna Paramatma has given. Because you see in the society, there are some people who have acquired the self-knowledge. Instead of reveling in that self-knowledge, they advocate people, don't do puja. First thing you do is you remove all your vigrahas in the puja mandir, in the altar. That's what they do, which is very, very wrong, which is a blasphemy. Then Karma Yogam is mentioned here. Karma Yoga means doing right action and with a right attitude. Right action means taking up sattvika karmas, pancha mahayajnas, Veda Vihita karmas, one has to take up. And then after completion of the work, after completion of that action, he has to offer it to Lord. Iswara Arpana Buddhi. With that Buddhi, he is doing that work. So after completion of the work, he is supposed to get the karma phala. The karma phala may be in your favor or it may be totally against you, not in your favor. You may get adverse result. So in either case, you should not brood, you should not scold God, you should not be agitative. Because the karma phala Ishvara is giving. So it is coming directly from Ishvara. You should accept it as Ishvara Prasadam. That the accommodation of accepting karma phala as a prasada is called Isvara Prasada Buddhi. Then Amanitvam. Amanitvam means without having mamakaram and ahankaram. Samatvam you should have. Samatvam means you should have equality and equanimity. Then we'll go to chapter 4. Chapter 4, it consists of 3 main topics. The first one is called Avatara Rahasyam. The second one is called Jnana Karma Sanyasa Yogam. The third one is called Jnana Sadhana Phalam. In this Avatara Rahasyam, Paramatma talks about his incarnation and what is the reason for incarnation. All these things we have discussed at length. Then Jnana Karma Sanyasa Yogam. This is also the title of the chapter. Jnana Karma Sanyasa means renouncing the Jnanam and Karma. You should not take that way. That is a wrong way of splitting this. Jnanaya Karma Sanyasam. For the sake of Jnanam, you have to renounce Karma. For the sake of Jnanam, you have to renounce Karma. Means if you are out and out into Karma, you cannot adopt Jnana. So, you have to slowly reduce the Karma and increase your learning, increase your contemplation time, and then you start reveling in that Nishtha. So, a sannyasi jnani will be there, gruhastu jnani will be there. A sannyasi jnani will take a diksha that he will not marry and he will not lead the family life. So, there are advantages for sannyasi, there are advantages for gruhastus. A sannyasi will have a good ambience because he is having a separate life, he is not into the family, he is not having that responsibility. But his daily living depends on the gruhastus. He has to take bhiksha. So he should get the bhiksha. So these problems will be there. But internally, both gruhastu sannyasi and the sannyasi gruhastu jnani, both gruhastu jnani and sannyasi jnani must have the internal renunciation, the internal sannyasam. For both of them it is a must. Karmanyapi pravartopi naiva kinchit karoti saha yasya sarve samarambe kama sankalpa varjitaha jnanagni dagda karmanam tamahu panditam buddhaha. So, karmanyapi pravartopi naiva kinchit karoti saha. So, even though this gruhastu jnani is doing all the works, he is into the transactions, but his mind is reveling in that Atmanishta. Therefore, even though he is doing the work, he is performing the work, he will not accrue any agami. Karmanyapi pravartopi naiva kinchit karoti sa. He is not doing anything. Then, yasya sarve samarambhaha kama sankalpa varjitaha jnanagni dagdha karmanam tamahu panditam buddhaha. So, for such a jnani, gruhastu jnani and sannyasi jnani, for both of them, the jnanagni will burn both agami and sanchitam. Prarabdham anyway, both have to undergo. Then there is another important sloka. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam tatparat sanyatendriya jnanam labdhva param shantim achirena adigacchati. So for a person who is having shraddha on scriptures and on Guru, So he will acquire the jnanam quickly. He should have absolute, trust on Guru Vakyam and Shastra Vakyam. So for such a person, quickly he can acquire the knowledge, and he will acquire the Santi in no time. So here the last portion of this topic, this chapter, the last portion of this chapter is Jnana Phalam. There are 4 types of advantages by acquiring the self-knowledge. The first one is Mohanashanam. Because of delusion only, Arjuna felt that the war, the dharma yuddham is, adharmam. Earlier he said this is a dharma yuddham. Now, after seeing grandfather and Guru, his mind changed. He said that this is adharma. So this kind of moham will go away, and you know what is right and what is wrong. So you can lead the righteous life. Then Jiva Ishvara Aikya Darsana. Jiva and Ishvara are both. Jiva means the chit in me, the sat in this world, both are same. God is in the form of prapancham. God is in the form of world around me. So when I see the world around me as God and see myself as chit swarupam and prapancham as sat swarupam, both are same, then I don't see any difference. I don't see any kind of a thing which is superior, a thing which is inferior. I see everyone equally. Sarvatra Samadarsanam. There is no dvesham at all. So this is the greatest advantage. Then Sarva Papanashanam. In this, we already mentioned that Jnanagni Dagda Karmanam. So all the karmas, that is Sanchita karmas and Agami karmas, are burnt. So no papam, which will lead you to further janma. Then Sarva Karma Nashanam. All karmas are burnt. So this is the thing. Then chapter 5 talks about the Nishtadvayam and Sadhana Dvayam, Jnana Sadhana Phalam and Dhyanam. These are the 5 topics in chapter 5. Nishtadvayam means there are 2 nishtas, as you know. One is Nivrutti Nishta, the other one is Pravrutti Nishta. Pravrutti Nishta means to be in the transactions, to be in the world, to be into the mundane things. That is to take up the Gruhastu Asrama. That is first Nishta, Pravrutti Nishta. Nivrutti Nishta is to lead a life of renunciation. That is to lead a life of Sanyasa. So here people have a misconception that only sannyasi is entitled to the moksham. Gruhastu is not entitled. Sankhya yogo prudagbalaha pravadanti na panditaha ekam apyastita samyak ubhayor vindate phalam. So here Paramatma says Sankhyam and Yogam, Prudak, they are different, they give different result. That Pravrutti Marga will give one result, Nivrutti Marga will give another result. That means only one is entitled for moksham. That is, a Nivrutti Marga, Nivrutti Nishta person will only get the moksham. The other person will not get. That is the idea. So that is not the right way of thinking. So, Samyak Ubhayor Vindate Phalam. So, either you take up sannyasa or forget about the moksha. That is the propagation some people say, which is not correct. This very particular sloka says both gruhastu and sannyasi will get moksha. Then sadhana dvayam, there are two sadhanas. One is called karma yoga sadhana, other is called jnana yoga sadhana. Both are must. They are to be performed in one sequence. Karma yogam first you have to perform and then jnana yogam. By performing karma yogam, you can attain the chitta suddhi and chitta vaisalyam and the chitta ekagrata and get yourself qualified for jnana. And then you can go to jnana yogam and know your own real self. And this jnana yogam you can adopt only by a guru and shastra. You have to approach a Srotriya Brahmanishta guru and seek knowledge. When you seek knowledge, he will give you the exposure of shastram for a long period of time, which is called Sravana Bhagam. And then you have to churn that knowledge. When you churn that knowledge, you get a lot of doubts and process all those doubts and acquire doubtless knowledge. When you get doubtless knowledge, then also there are certain habitual obstacles which will not allow you for jnana nishta. Then you can process that viparita bhavanas, habitual thinking, by abhyasam and vairagyam. Then do nididhyasanam, get jnana nishta and jivan mukti and videham. So these are the steps. Vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane gavihastini sunicheva swapakecha pandita samadarsinaha. So a jnani will look at a pandit and an ordinary person equally. He looks at a dog, an elephant, and a dog eater, a pandita, all are equal to him because everything atma eva. Jnana sadhana phalam. By doing this jnana yoga, by adopting jnana yoga and staying in the atmanishta, what is the phalam? Sarvam parvasam dukkham, sarvam atmavasam sukham. If you make your mind atmavasam, you are comfortable and you have that santi. If you surrender to the world, then you are bound to get dukkham. So a jnani who is in the nishta, how he will be? Na prahrushyet priyam prapya, no dvidet prapya chapriyam, sirabuddhi rasam modo, brahmavid brahmanistitaha. He is not, elated, he is not blown up when he is having a favorable time, a gala time. He is not totally dejected, or he will go to depression when there is an odd time, when there is a difficult time. So such balance he will maintain always, because for Atma there is no dukkham, there is no sukham. There is no favorable time, there is no unfavorable time. So he is always in that happiness. He achieves jivan mukti and videha mukti. Labhante brahma nirvanam rishayat china kalmashaha. So he will get the brahma nirvanam, and he is the person who achieved the target. Then chapter 6 is called Atma Samyamana Yogam. Karma and Upasana will give you Jnana Yogyata. Shravanam will enhance your knowledge about yourself. Mananam will give you doubtless knowledge. Nididhyasnam will give you Jnana Nishta, which will lead you to Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti. These are the various stages. Now, the chapter deals with the two kinds of meditators. That is the meditation before Atma Jnana. So such meditator is called Arurukshaha. The meditation after you have acquired the Jnanam, self-knowledge, such person is called Arudaha. For Arurukshaha, one he has yet to acquire the self-knowledge, Saguna Ishvara Dhyanam is prescribed because he has to process his antakaranas. Then, for a person who is already equipped with the self-knowledge, so for such person, Nirguna Ishvara Dhyanam is prescribed. Then we have various topics in this Bahiranga sadhanas, the sadhanas which can be performed anytime. Antaranga sadhanas, these are the do's and don'ts which are to be practiced just before meditation. Then Dhyana Swarupam is mentioned in this particular chapter. The Dhyana Palam is also mentioned. Dhyana Pratibandhakas, various obstacles, like 4 obstacles we have discussed during meditation and how to overcome is also discussed. Then finally a topic which is Agantukam, which has come over conversation, that is called Yoga Brashta portion. In the Yoga Brashta portion, Arjuna poses a question. Okay, you are telling all this. Suppose I cannot achieve the Jnana Nishta. What will be my fate? I am not performing karma because you suggested Jnana Yogam. And I don't get punyam because I have reduced the karma. And I have not achieved the Nishta in Jnanam. So, I am a loser of both the worlds. I am a loser of Jnana Yogam, I am a loser of Karma Yogam. For such a Yoga Brashta, Ubhaya Brashta he mentioned, he is a loser of both. For such a Ubhaya Brashta, Yoga Brashta, what will be his future? Will he fall to Hina Yonis? Will he take Hina Janmas? That was the mind state of Arjuna. Paramatma said there is no loss at any stage, at any point to a spiritual seeker. This is the Abhayam. You must understand, this is the Abhayam Paramatma has given. Whatever be the path you are taking, you may not come to Jnana Nishta, Jnana Yogam and all that. Still, if you are pursuing that spiritual path, there is always that Abhayam is there. Finally, all the paths culminate with Jnana Yogam. You may do any other path. You take Janma after Janma and Janma after Janma, and finally you will enter into Jnana Yoga. That is what Paramatma wants to say. He said this Yoga Brashta will take birth into a rich and cultured family who are following the Vedic lifestyle. So he is connected to the past Janmas, samskara. Wherever he stopped, he can start from there. Athava, or he is born into a poor and Brahmanishtas family. All are Brahmanishtas there in that family. So here, the second one is a better option. That's what Shankara Bhagavatpada says. Because when he is into a Jnana-nishtas family, so he need not run around for a guru. Guru is right in the family. So they talk always in terms of the Jnana. So the general conversation is also Atma Vidya for them. So it's a great advantage to be born in the family of Brahmanishtas. So that way, a person who is into spiritual life is always going forward in the direction of moksham. So with this we have completed the first Shatkam. After the vacation we'll start the 7th chapter and start the Shatkam 2. So I wish you all happy vacation. Thank you. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.